Good evening. I hereby call to order the action session of the Board of School Commissioners for Thursday, March 16th. The colors will be posted this evening by the color guard from Northwest Community High School. JROTC battalion members posting colors are Cadet Colonel Jose Santiago, Cadet Major Annie Acevedo, Cadet Sergeant Melanie Santiago, Cadet Captain Anthony Brown, Cadet Major Maria Cervantes. Cadet Sergeant Rashay Jones will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise for the presentation of colors.
Arms. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order. Arms. Center. Base. Forward. March. March sign. March. Color guard. Hold. Hold. Colors. Present. Arm. Order. Arm. Center. Base.
Forward. March.
Thank you to the color guard from Northwest High School. Mr. Mulholland, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Arnold. Commissioner Bentley.
Here.
Secretary Gore.
Here.
Commissioner Hoops.
Here.
Commissioner Moore.
Here.
Vice President O'Connor.
Here.
President Sullivan.
Here. Thank you, Mr. Mulholland. We will now adopt the agenda for tonight's meeting. The agenda was reviewed on Tuesday and reflects any necessary modifications or additions. Reviewing the modified agenda, are there any requests for changes to the agenda as presented? Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The agenda is adopted. We will now proceed to Section 2 of the agenda. This evening's student performance will be performed by Kids Dance Outreach. Established in 2012, the mission of Kids Dance Outreach is to make a positive change in the lives of young people through the discipline of dance. Indianapolis Community Partnerships enable KDO to share their high-level dance programs with IPS students each year. Please welcome our student performers from Kids Dance Outreach.
You go that direction.
gonna celebrate your party with you. Come on, celebration. Let's all celebrate and have a good time. Celebration. We're gonna celebrate and have a good time. It's time to come together. It's up to you. What's your pleasure? Everyone around the world, come on. Here's your celebration. Celebrate good times, come on. Celebrate good times, come on. We gonna celebrate your party with you, come on.
Okay, let's hear one more time for Kids Dance Outreach. This evening, we have two special recognitions to make. First, we recognize Sonia Clark for going above and beyond the call of duty as a mentor and PTSA organizer within the Shortridge IB High School community. In the 2015-16 school year, Sonia Clark initiated the creation of the PTSA for Shortridge and served as its president. She continues to serve this school year as vice president. Sonia's work with the PSTA has been key to establishing a structure for Shortridge parents to support the school's classroom needs and foster student engagement. Sonia's other contributions include endless research, a needs assessment, communication, planning and implementation, group goal setting, and volunteer management. Principal Shane O'Day credits Sonia's energy and dedication to strengthening the Shortridge community. On behalf of the IPS Board of School Commissioners, I extend our sincere appreciation to Sonia Clark for your commitment to uplifting Shortridge High School in the eyes of staff, parents, and students, and enhancing the attributes of the IPS district. Next, we would like to recognize Martha Brammer for serving as a valuable community partner for James Whitcomb Riley School 43. A professional artist by trade, Martha was looking for an opportunity to reach a broader audience with her art. After reading about the hardships faced by James Whitcomb Riley School 43, Martha decided to put her art in the places where art is needed because, in the words of author Marianne F. Cole, art is as natural as sunshine and as vital as nourishment. Martha volunteered to paint a life-size mural of a tree in the school's hallway. The mural is now complete, entitled The Kindness Tree. Every week, students eagerly check to see which of their fellow students' names have been added to the tree because they have performed acts of kindness. On behalf of the Indianapolis Public Schools Board of School Commissioners, I extend our sincere appreciation to Martha Brammer for lending her artistic talents to enhance the environment for the students who attend James Whitcomb Riley School 43.
Not so bad.
Thank you. Now we will move to section 3 of our agenda, and if any commissioners would like to offer comments at this time. Okay, thank you. So we will now begin with public comment. We have a large number of individuals who signed up to offer comments to the board this evening. Speakers here for a specific item on tonight's agenda will be called to the podium when that item comes before the board. The majority of our commenters are here to speak on the Innovation Network agreements that will be presented in new business. I will remind our speakers that you are allowed 3 minutes to speak. While we love to see the amazing turnout and participation from the public, we do, considering that there are nearly 30 individuals prepared to offer comments tonight, we would greatly appreciate those who could keep their comments brief, and you get bonus points for being short and sweet. A timer will start when you begin, and I ask that you briefly conclude your remarks when you hear the timer go off. Comments should be directed to the board collectively, should be respectful, and should not address a topic that might be of a confidential nature or that would compromise the impartiality of the board. I will also remind our speakers that while the board is happy to receive your comments, we will not respond or answer any questions. Please come to the podium and begin your comments when your name is called. Mr. Grommelsbacher will be helping us move through our speaking agenda this evening. Thanks very much. Now, I believe we have one. Yes, thank you.
Ann Foisey, please.
Good evening. My name is Ann Foisey, and I am a parent of one of IPS's newest innovation schools, Global Prep at Riverside 44. And I'm here to talk about my experience at Global, given the important vote tonight that will determine if School 42 will be an innovation school. I'm sure that the academic program that we have at Global is different from the Ignite model being proposed at School 42. But I do want to speak about a few elements of my experience and the experience of my daughter Claire as a kindergartner at Global to help address some of the concerns that I sometimes hear about innovation schools. For one, I want to speak about teacher quality and the level of experience that educators have in innovation schools. Simply put, my family could not be happier with Claire's teachers. She has 4 teachers across her 2 classrooms in kindergarten, and they have a combined 45 years of teaching experience. I've had the opportunity to go in and observe Claire's classrooms in action, and I've been very impressed with how engaged all of the students are and the quality of instruction that they are receiving. In terms of her progress this year, I received very early on, about 6 to 8 weeks into the school year, information about where Claire stood in terms of reading and math. And since then, having barely known any Spanish in this dual language immersion school, Claire is now, as a kindergartner, reading and writing on a 1st grade level in Spanish, and the homework that she's bringing home in math increases in complexity from week to week. The second thing I'll say is that the school leadership has been phenomenal. It was the confidence that I had in Mariama Carson's leadership that helped me make the decision to send Claire to Global. Now that we're 7 months into the school year, that has really played out. I've seen that both students and teachers look up to Mariama as a leader, and I find her to be so kind and accessible, inspiring and professional. The last thing I'll say is that the welcoming, accessible environment at Global speaks to how well innovation schools are doing at establishing positive school culture. If I happen to be at the school, I can pop into Claire's classroom unannounced without question. I'm welcomed in and instruction continues, and my presence is not questioned. I have felt that my voice is valuable and that I'm not just welcome, I'm encouraged to be a part of the school. Again, I can't speak to what the Ignite model might mean for families, but my experience has been incredibly positive, and I feel really fortunate to have had an IPS innovation school among my options. I had a seat for Claire at one of our city's top performing charter schools at Paramount, and I chose IPS, I chose innovation, I chose Global at Riverside 44 and I couldn't be happier with my choice. And I really do hope that the parents in School 42 will benefit as much as my family has from innovation in IPS. Thank you.
Thank you. Having received opening comments from the board and the public, we will now proceed to the consent agenda. The items included on the consent agenda were reviewed at our agenda review session on Tuesday and reflect all necessary modifications. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second.
Sorry.
Any comments on the consent agenda? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. We have one item under board reports this evening. Commissioner O'Connor, would you briefly provide an update from the Finance Committee?
Yeah, the Finance Committee met on March 1st. Heard a little bit of information with regards to the budget. We had the official budget hearing, I think, on March 6th after that meeting. Then heard some information with regards to the internal control project we're undertaking and looking at how we track our dollars as well as cash management practices and use of our appropriate use of our debt as we look forward to sort of managing into the next several years. Committee meeting went for about an hour and a half. Welcomed, Wes, how many new board members did we welcome on the committee? 5 new board members, so I spent a lot of time walking through some information just to get everybody up to speed. And Commissioner Bentley and I kind of tag teamed that meeting. I had to get there late. She had to leave a little bit early, but all that information's on the board docs if you have any questions with regards to the specifics, but covered a lot of information, didn't take any official action.
Well, we're very grateful to your participation and Commissioner Bentley's participation, and especially to our community partners. It's wonderful to have so many people interested in helping and supporting IPS. I will now turn the agenda over to Dr. Farabee.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you, Madam President. The next section is Section 6, which includes the superintendent reports for this month. The first item is item 6.01, which includes an innovation briefing that was presented on Tuesday evening. However, given that a number of the items that were addressed in that update are on the agenda for action this evening, the administration is happy to review those materials again if that is the wish of the board tonight.
Would you like to do that, or are we ready to move to the next proposals?
I think we're ready.
I think we're ready. Okay.
All right.
Thank you for offering.
The next agenda item in superintendent reports is 6.02, which includes innovation school reports. Part of our innovation school network agreements requires semi-annual and annual reports from partners related to their progress for the school year. Particularly for the semi-annual reports, they address progress through mid-year. This month, our presentations were to come from our conversion partners, which includes Cold Spring School and the Phelan Leadership Academy. Unfortunately, the school leader for Phelan Leadership Academy at George Fisher School 93 is ill and not able to join us this evening, so we will have one innovation partner report. So I'll turn to Alicia Johnson, Innovation Officer, who will introduce the presenters for Cold Spring.
Good evening, Commissioners. Carrie Bruns, who serves as the principal of Cold Spring, will be presenting to you this evening. So I'll just ask her to the podium, please. And just for context for new commissioners, Cold Spring is in its first year of conversion as an innovation school.
Good evening. My name is Carrie Bruns, and I'm the principal of Cold Spring School. And I am here tonight to provide a brief update to you on our successful school launch this year and to share with you some of our focus areas for this upcoming year. Over the next few minutes, I will review the objectives, provide a quick update, share existing strengths of our instructional model and areas of focus, as well as end the presentation with a few of our school highlights. As part of the innovation law, we are required to present an update to the board a couple of times each year, and I am happy tonight to be able to share with you some of the really great things that are happening at Cold Spring School. We are happy to report that our current enrollment is 312 students. As you can see, we started the school year with about 242 students. After the first ADM reporting period, we were around 290 students. And then after winter break, we saw another increase in our enrollment, and we are now at the current 312 students. As an Innovation Network school, the first 3 years of accountability all focus around the growth component on the ISTEP test. Our school goals for ISTEP are based on the growth component as well. I do need to clarify for you that the 50% that you see in the goal column represents 50% of growth, not proficiency. We are anticipating that 50% of our students will achieve typical to high growth on this year's ISTEP exam. I read accountability, it still comes from a proficiency rate, and our goal this year is the 80%. Because our ISTEP accountability and our school goal for our board centers around the growth component, we chose to continue with NWEA as our benchmark assessment. We currently administer NWEA 3 times a year to our 3rd through 6th grade students. Next year, we will be phasing out DIBELS, and we will be picking up NWEA from kindergarten through 6th grade. When we analyzed the beginning of our year data, we recognized that many of our students in 3rd through 6th grade were starting the year at least a half a year to a full year behind where we wanted them to be. The teachers have utilized the Skills Navigator component of the NWEA assessment and are providing our students with extra intervention activities. We are happy with the increase in the RIT scores that you see with math and as well as with ELA. From the beginning of the year to the end of the year, you can see how each grade level has progressed. Typical growth for a student for 1 year on an NWEA assessment is anywhere between 5 to 7 RIT points. The fact that many of our grade levels averaged more than that in 1 semester is encouraging to us that by the end of the year, the achievement gap that we saw at the beginning of the school year in August will have closed significantly by the end of the year. This slide highlights our ELA results from NWEA. Again, the teacher utilized the Skills Navigator component for intervention materials, as well as Lexia Core 5. We have purchased a Lexia license, a school license, so all of our children in grades kindergarten through 6th grade do participate in that program.
Could you explain for the board what Lexia is?
It's primarily used in our district as an ESL program to supplement reading instruction. We saw merit and value for all of our students to be able to participate in that, and so we were able to spend the dollars to purchase a license for all of our students.
Thank you.
Our 5th grade students have seen the largest jump, as you can see, with just a little over 10 points of growth from beginning of the year to the middle of the year. Our academic focus areas this year are math and science, but our work has truly been to work on integrating the 2 of those disciplines across all content areas rather than focus on each of them individually. All of the teachers have been working on the integration this year, and they've been doing a lot of extra planning and preparation for their lessons. I can give you a couple of examples. For example, this week, our 1st grade students, they were in art class, and in art they were talking about light refraction. They were watching the videos, they were measuring the angles that the light gets refracted, and then they were using that information to then create their rainbow following patterns and incorporating that pattern part in the math. Our 2nd grade students were this week talking about the water cycle in their reading lesson. In Project Lead the Way, that same classroom was then constructing a creek bed and talking about water channels and what happens as creeks erode, using our creek in our backyard as an example of what happens. Just because our focus is math and science this year doesn't mean that we don't value literacy and the places where we have to grow with ELA. This is a priority for us, just not as much this year as math and science. We've put, as I said, the Lexia license in place for all of our students, and we have been using NWEA and DIBELS assessment data as information to form our flexible groupings during our literacy blocks. We continue to offer Project Lead the Way to all of our students during a special area rotation. We utilize the district science curriculum, but we supplement with lessons from Project Learning Tree. All of our teachers are certified in the Project Learning learning tree curriculum that's done through the Department of Natural Resources, and we were all trained at the beginning of the school year. They do focus more on the environmental studies, but then we are able to supplement the district curriculum with those lessons. We've also expanded our robotics program. In addition to our competitive club that uses the VEX IQ robots, we also have STEM clubs throughout the day, and during the STEM robotics club, they use the Lego Mindstorm robots, and then some of our younger students are utilizing the Lego education kits. Next year we will be expanding and participating in FIRST robotics with our younger students.
Can I knew at one point in time, and I've forgotten, so you referenced DIBBLS. Could you remind me what the acronym DIBBLS stands for?
Dynamic Indicators of Basic Early Literacy Skills.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Social and emotional learning, those are not new topics in education, but they are becoming much more relevant topics. And we've seen a change in our student population over the last couple of years. Children are coming to us with many more social and emotional needs, and we need to do a better job of addressing them hand in hand with the academic components. As a staff, we're trying to be more proactive than reactive, and we've built in a lot of positive behavior supports during our school day, such as bucket fillers. We've all been trained in responsive classroom and utilize that on a daily basis, and then character trait education as well. We've increased our small group support. Our social worker goes in and does monthly lessons with each classroom. She has several groups that she meets with during lunch bunch or at various times throughout the week. And we currently have 2 social work interns working in our building who also help support that small group, those small group needs with our kids. We have also successfully reached out to community partners, local churches, and various organizations for school supplies, as well as creating a weekend backpack food program for our students. We've begun to research social and emotional curriculums, and we hope that in the future we can offer that either as a special area class that all students rotate through, or to be able to use that curriculum during our STEM club and have that offered so many days each week. Marian University has also just started a master's in school counseling program, and so over the next 2 years, as those students work through their program and need to find internships, we are more than willing to take those students and welcome them at our school. We've had some great successes with our STEM initiatives this year. We've implemented STEM clubs school-wide. So as part of the innovation process, we were able to extend our school day. And so each of our students participates in a STEM enrichment club for 40 minutes at the end of each day. Students are allowed to choose the club that they go to. We rotate those every 9 weeks. They are teacher-led. Right now we have about 15 different club opportunities for students, ranging from chess to 4-H, cooking, coding, gardening. We have a lot of different activities to keep the students engaged. This year, we have also continued to implement the lunch mentoring program with the Marian athletes. We have about 30 students who benefit from the athletes coming over and eating lunch or joining those students at recess time. We've also expanded the mentorship into other areas, and so our robotics team also has medical students coming over and mentoring them. There are some weeks during robotics practice that we have more medical students there than Cold Spring students, but that's a good problem to have. And then their professors have also come over and joined our students during STEM club time. We have a lot of professors that like to play chess with the kids, and then some of their professors have even come out and done professional development with us around ESL and special education. Whoops. Our robotics team is in the 3rd year of its competitions. The Cold Spring Robotics team was the only IPS elementary school to qualify for the state championship this year. This was held last month at IUPUI, and our EagleBots walked away with a 1st place in programming, 1st place in their STEM research project, a 2nd place in Team Alliance, and a 2nd place in skills. And all 4 of those awards individually would have qualified a team for a world championship, and so we were really proud of the hard work that they put in, and that both of our teams qualified to be able to compete in the world championship, and we are doing lots of fundraising. Thank you to all of those who have already donated to our funds, and we're just really excited that the students have that opportunity to compete on a world level next month. This fall, we applied for and we received a learning garden from the kitchen community. Our kickoff event is tomorrow. You are all invited, but please bring your rain boots and your umbrellas because it probably is going to rain. Promise Indiana is another initiative that we have teamed up with Marian University on. This is a 529 college saving plan for our families. The Promise allows families to open up a traditional 529 account, but it also has a community component to it. And so the community fundraises for students, and then students can earn extra dollars as one time a year lump sum type of commitments, or we can use it to incentivize things like perfect attendance and honor roll, where they'll get an extra deposit into their accounts. We're nearing the end of our first year, and it's been very successful. We're very proud of the work that we've done, and we've learned a lot, and we still have a lot to learn. We've been very busy, but we're really looking forward to the opportunities that next year provides to us. Just thank you for your time tonight.
Any questions? Commissioner O'Connor?
So you're at 312. Now, do you have a target student population for next year?
344.
Just a rough number.
Just a rough number.
Commissioner Bentley?
You were the first school, I think, to convert to an innovation school.
Mm-hmm.
What did you learn through that process, and how is that? How have you managed that change from being a principal at a traditional magnet school and now being sort of the person in charge of the innovation school?
The role has definitely changed, and so thankfully we've been very conservative with our budget this year, so we've been able to add some additional staff, able to hire an assistant principal and bring him on to our administrative team, which has helped out greatly, providing the additional instructional leadership support as well as just day-to-day operation of the school day. I do spend probably about 75% of my time more business stuff than school stuff, and so it really depends on the day and what we have coming up, and who's in charge of what and who's taking care of which items. We are working very well as a team all together, trying to manage all of it because it really is a lot, and every day we are learning or coming across some new issue that, as much planning and preparing as you can do, it never prepares you for everything. And so there are lots of new things that come up on a daily basis, but the innovation team with IPS has been wonderful, and anytime we come across one of those issues that we don't have an answer for, it's just, okay, well, we didn't think about it. Let's sit down and figure out a plan.
Great. Well, maybe you can put together a training manual for
a playbook. Yeah.
In your spare time,
yeah,
you can put together a training manual.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. You have been really busy, and keep reading things and seeing things on social media about all of the activity at your school. And I know it was a great school before you converted, and I'm really excited to see all of your new developments and new initiatives. It's great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations to you, the students, staff, and volunteers on the robotics achievement. That's really exciting.
Yep, we'll keep you posted. Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is a potential innovation partner presentation. Reminder, commissioners, our process to frame this presentation is to have any partner that is interested in a innovation relationship to first come before commissioners to present their model before the administration has any discussion with the potential partner as it relates to an agreement or terms or any benefits for the district or the partner. And so with that, we have an opportunity that's been presented to us that we'd like to share with commissioners. I'll turn to Alicia Johnson, who will provide context on the partner and introduce the presenter.
Thank you, Dr. Farabee. I'd like to introduce Janet McNeil, who serves as president and head of school at Heron High School, which is an existing charter school in downtown Indianapolis. They are expanding and opening a second campus, Riverside High School, in the fall of 2017. And so Janet will come to present to us about the model of Heron High School and Riverside High School as we consider an innovation partnership.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to come. I'd like to start with just a few bits about Heron High School. We are a Indianapolis charter school currently. In the fall of 2017, we will launch our second school, Riverside High School. Both schools adhere to our classical liberal arts curriculum, college preparatory curriculum that requires students to take 4 years of Latin in addition to other core subjects. Both schools are committed to serving the needs of a diverse socioeconomic and ability group of students. And we have a deep commitment to our city and the neighborhoods that we serve. I have a handout prepared for you tonight to just for you to see the outreach that we have that we've undertaken in our new neighborhood, Riverside. We also have a outreach coordinator, and she is spending 2/3 of her time in the Riverside neighborhood. Again, our classical liberal arts model, we are very excited. I'm not going to read all the slides to you. I think that's a little rude. We are very excited to the opportunity to be able to share best practices with Indianapolis Public Schools. Your esteemed special education programs, your cultural needs knowledge is something that we are eager to learn from you, as well as to share some of our best practices. And it's very much a part of our DNA to be partners in the city, and we're looking forward to this possibility. I do want to say something about the Socratic dialogue that you will see going on in all of our classes. It sounds a little lofty. All it really is that it's a chance for students to learn how to have civil discourse, and it's a chance for their ideas to be valued by their fellow students. It goes deeply back to the notion that we believe all students are scholars. We just have to sometimes work to unlock that ability. We have a very rich and rigorous advanced placement course program, and we have 17 classes. I think the most unique thing about our advanced placement program and makes us different from almost any high school in the country is that we have open access. We live, make decisions, and go about our daily lives with our core values. So I am going to talk about these for just a moment. We believe that every student is a scholar. We believe that engaging in an urban community is important for all of our citizens. We advance timeless ideas and content. We let the work that the students read and discuss be the core unit of how they think and how we ask them to write. We build a culture of respect and trust through relationships with people and ideas. I probably say this at least 120 times a year. Students will not learn from us until they trust us and until they know we really care about them. And we serve as a catalyst for renewal. In our current neighborhood, the first year we had bike racks, and they were empty. And over the course of the last 5 years, we have added multiple bike racks, and they are full. It is exciting to see students walking to school, riding their bikes to school. And we believe that we have been a catalyst for renewal in our neighborhood. And we are hoping and working really hard to do the same thing in our new neighborhood, Riverside. Our population at this point mirrors the city of Indianapolis with our diversity and with our population, with our income. However, We are eager to increase the population of students of color. Again, while we are eager to do this, I would like to share some important statistics with you. I was an English teacher once. In our ECA scores, at the first onset, 70% of our students of color passed their ECA. Indiana's average is 39%. 57% of Heron High School African American students take an AP exam. The state rate is 22%. While I'm not satisfied with this win, students passing an AP exam at Heron High School is 23%. Indiana's rate is 5%. Here's something I am proud of. Our graduation rate for our African American students is 98%. Indiana's is 80%. I think one thing that I don't think about a lot, but when I see this graph, I feel great satisfaction and proud of our teachers and our staff. We have grown exponentially. We have grown larger than we ever thought possible. In fact, we doubled what we first projected. And in that growth, we have not lost any academic momentum. Our scores, in fact, have risen as we have grown. We have to talk about this, I suppose, but with our students' standardized test assessments, we top out in all areas. In our AP exam success, we top out Indiana and we top out the nation. And I'm not going to read those scores to you, but we work really hard. It's not an accident. Our school day is 9 to 4, but many of our students and all of our teachers are there from 8 to 5. We hold office hours, and it's busy right now because AP tests are coming up, and you'll see classrooms filled at 4:30 as students are prepping for their exams. 100% of our high school seniors are accepted into college or choose to enter the military. This year, we have 3 young folks entering the military. Our graduation rate for Heron's last 2 graduating class has exceeded 99%. Right now, we're trending at 98% for this particular class of 2017. 79% of our Heron High School graduates took at least one advanced placement exam during their time at Heron High School. Again, I want to emphasize the fact that we have open access. You do not have to be what other schools would term an honors student to take an advanced placement class. 69% of Heron High School graduates of the class of 2016 received the academic honors diploma. This is by design. All students are required to take core subjects all 4 years. They fit electives in, but science, math, social studies, language arts, and Latin are required all 4 years. I want to say first about this slide that we are never satisfied. As we get this award or that award, you'll often find us sitting in a conference room figuring out what we're doing wrong and how we can get better. That's very much a part of who we are as a school. You can see those results, and we are proud of them. And we do think that intentional quality matters, and we're very happy with that. We began to be a school when we had a mayor talking about world-class citizens and what that meant and how important it was for Indianapolis to nurture young people who would be world-class citizens. We don't forget that charge. We think about it every day, Next week, I think we have 14 students headed to Mexico in an exchange program, and a week after that, those 14 students will return, and with them will be 14 students from the school in Mexico, and they will stay with us for 2 weeks. That's just one example of how we believe that understanding folks on the other side of the border, or just understanding how other people are thinking, is important, and you'll hear it discussed in our Socratic dialogues throughout our school. Thank you. Questions?
Commissioner Gore?
Tonight, thank you very much. Listening to you, congratulations on your school. It's doing well.
Thank you.
I'd just like to know, what would Heron be looking for with a collaboration with IPS?
It's a very good question, something we've thought quite a bit about. I think going back to, it's just in our DNA to partner with our community. I feel that there's a lot for us to learn with how IPS serves their population, and I feel like there is a lot of collaboration that we can share with them. We're looking for that partnership that really is important to our city. I also want to say how much I appreciate the thinking and the creativity IPS has put into this innovation project. And I have been reading about it and a fan of it since its inception.
Have you put any thought to what school you would want to collaborate with if you were part of an innovation?
I don't think she's there anymore, but I used to have a friend who taught at Tech High School, and I would call her about special education circumstances when I first became a school leader. And I learned to respect just the knowledge and the best practices that they were utilizing, and I think that we can learn a lot from that. I also am really interested in sharing how we do advanced placement programming. I think those kind of conversations will make our city better.
I just said it.
Commissioner Bentley?
We're, moving towards a common enrollment system.
Right.
Or still working through all of that. Is this something that Heron would participate in if they became an innovation school?
We would certainly consider it, and I just want to put one caveat in there. The answer is yes, we would consider it, absolutely. The thing that we really want to see happen is that we need to know who our students are, our rising freshmen are, in early spring, because we start working with those families on the get-go. And those students who come to us, and many of our students do come to us, reading at 5th grade level, not really understanding negative numbers. And so we start working with those families and those students really early on, and then we have this really rigorous and fun summer academy. So we would want to be able to work with those families early on, but absolutely.
And then, currently as a charter school, you have open enrollment. I mean, anybody from
That's right.
anywhere in the state of Indiana can attend your school. If you become an innovation school, will you change? Because I think it's a may. Is it a may or
It's a shall.
It's a shall. Oh, okay. I didn't realize. Sorry. So if you became an innovation school, IPS, students living in the IPS boundary would be preferenced for the program. Is that correct? Am I correct in that then?
Oh, in regards to
Enrollment.
Enrollment in terms of an attendance area, that's a may.
Oh, that's what I meant.
Yes, that's a may.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. So I didn't know if you'd had any discussions or thought about, whether students in in the IPS boundary would get preference, or students in Indianapolis as a whole would get preference, or how that would work?
What we're really interested in is, and I'm sorry, my brain is working quickly and I can't come up with the term, but I think it's called neighborhood preference. We are really interested in being able to offer that to our families. I think it comes naturally, but as things progress, I think defining that and making sure that we are serving the neighborhoods that we are in, we name our schools after our neighborhoods, that's our number one priority.
Okay.
If I answered your question.
I think so.
I'm sorry, I wasn't clear on the question that you asked.
Yeah, I was asking about, attendance, enrollment boundaries. Gosh, I can't think either. Sorry.
Any other
Any other questions?
I just have a question.
Mr. Bentley.
Just, what is, I know that this is just a preliminary presentation, but I'm assuming that, like some of our other innovation agreements, there would be some special education services that we would be able to work with Heron more on than maybe we are now, and transportation could potentially be involved in this, and some other things. Is that one of the reasons you're sort of looking at innovation, becoming an innovation school? It's because some of those additional services that might be offered to your students? Is that part of the thought?
We are really interested in talking about transportation, not particularly for the school day, but it scares the bejeebies out of me. I don't know how that's going to be reflected in the notes, but it's really when we have to carpool to our basketball games, and we have to turn down field trips because we can't afford them. That is really something I do want to talk about as we go through these negotiations.
Thank you.
Commissioner Moore?
And so what number of students are you anticipating for Riverside?
We will start with somewhere between 175 to 200 students in the fall.
Growing ultimately to?
600. That's the way we did Heron High School, in that we started with 9th graders and we built up. We feel that that's just the best way to prepare them academically, and also it will be able to establish a culture that way.
So you anticipate 200 freshmen coming to your school?
175 to 200 to Riverside, okay. And I think we're going to take about 200 to 225 freshmen at Heron High School next year. Don't quote me on that number.
Commissioner O'Connor?
Let me ask one question. It's kind of a refining question that Commissioner Bentley asked, but just so as you look at this, and I think it helps all of us and helps people who participate with us, what does becoming an innovation school offer you that you don't have today?
That's a good question. I think what I'm looking forward to is the collaboration. I hope it's there. I'm looking forward to maybe not putting our kids in carpools to get them to a basketball game. But I also am really hoping to be able to be a part of this community of innovation, and I probably should come up with a synonym there. But I think that's really exciting for not just me, but for my board and for my faculty and for most of our families. I think that's a big opportunity to still make even a larger difference in the city of Indianapolis.
Commissioner Gore?
Talking about your parents and your staff.
Yes.
Has there been any conversation with them? And if so, what is the feedback based on coming to IPS?
Absolutely.
Most of them opted out of IPS to go to Heron, so.
There has, as far as my staff and faculty, this has happened pretty quickly. We had our board retreat in late February, and so this whole process has happened pretty quickly. And so I was able to talk to the faculty and staff about this just recently. And there were lots of questions. There were just lots of questions. And, but as the feedback went, it was all positive. There were just, is my job still going to be here? Are we going to be Heron High School or IPS employees? Those kind of things that I think would be natural. But at the end of the day, there was a really good feeling. And since then, there have been lots of conversations that are very productive. As far as the parents are concerned, a lot of thank yous that we are partnering with IPS, but then I'll be honest, there were some concerns. There were some concerns about why would we do this? There were some concerns about just, how this whole system would play out. And I've tried to ask them for patience because as Dr. Farabee just said, or Alicia I can't remember who said it, this is just the beginning. So presenting tonight is the beginning. The process of negotiation hopefully will start after this, and we'll see where we go. And I will be transparent throughout that process.
Any other comments? Thank you. I believe we have some public comment on this.
Public comment on this item is Annie Roof, please.
Good evening. I had a feeling I'd be called first. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, Dr. Farabee, thank you for this time. I'm speaking tonight in regards to Heron becoming an innovation school. My name is Annie Roof, and I speak tonight as a Heron parent, a former IPS parent, a former IPS board member, and a current IPS taxpayer. I am concerned that this conversation is even this far as long as it is, because many Heron parents truly don't understand what's happening with this process. We received this in a newsletter. I would hope that IPS would create policy if this is something that you want to do in the future and continue of putting the umbrella under charter schools that have already existed. I hope that policy would be created to ensure that public meetings have been had before it's voted on at this level. I know parents have many questions. Many of them were mentioned: the enrollment process, the budget, transportation, and I don't feel like there's answers yet, and I just hope there is time for that before a vote's taken. I think that when there's a public school that accepts public money, public input is vital. One of my questions is, where is the money coming from? The number $1,400 per student additional year has been thrown out there. If my math serves me correct, that's about $1 million for just the current Heron High School. Where does that come from in your budget? Does that come from taxpayers? I know that IPS has lots of empty buildings or 30% capacity buildings. Can it afford to take on 2 more buildings? I know this is a double-edged sword. I have a kid in Heron, and this would benefit her financially, but I also am a taxpayer. I see that Heron gains money, but I'm also wondering, what does IPS gain? Test scores, graduation rates. I'm trying to brief this because I know there's 29 people behind me. I'm concerned that if that's the case, is that really improving IPS test scores, or is it just diluting the failing ones that are currently there? I want to make sure that if this happens, it's for the right reasons for IPS students as well. And finally, I think the biggest decisions are the most rushed, and I don't understand that. I'm not saying this is the wrong idea. I'm saying we're going at the wrong speed with this. Heron needs to include their families and staff, and IPS really needs to question if their students are benefiting in this process as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. That's it on public comment on this topic. Thank you.
Again, so commissioners, I will just remind you of what we started with, is that, again, part of our process in potential innovation partners is to first have the interested partner come before the Board of Commissioners and present their model before there's any discussion as relates to a potential agreement. With that said, would ask commissioners if there are any concerns with having a potential conversation. The administration would like to hear that at this point, just to be sure that we are following our process. We have not had any negotiations, any discussions about a potential relationship. Obviously, it would have to be one that would be mutually beneficial for the partner and the district.
Commissioners want to comment? Commissioner O'Connor.
I applaud both parties in this situation, and I would suggest, I think that the unified enrollment issue is a pretty important issue to me personally, and I suspect to the board as a whole, of something that we would want to look at or look for in that agreement.
I would agree with the unified enrollment piece. I think that in other cities, they are somewhat able to customize because they do work across sectors to accommodate, but I'm sure timelines are one of the things that would be more difficult to accommodate. But they do allow for differential enrollment criteria in the system, if that makes any sense. But it's still a kind of a one-stop shop for all of your school choices. Yes, Commissioner Bentley.
I just had a couple questions for Dr. Farabee, and I think it's just because, I mean, I know this is preliminary. This is just, we just had an initial presentation, and obviously there's a lot of conversations and planning that have to occur. But it seems like there's some information out there that I'm not sure is particularly accurate. I know school funding, particularly innovation school funding, can be very complicated. And I think when a charter is converting to an innovation school, their funding is still flowing. Does it flow through us at that point and then out to the school, or directly to the school? I forget.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question because tonight in our budget development update, since we've had that question a couple times, we actually will provide examples of how the dollars flow for the various types of schools that we have. I think will help answer some of those questions because the response is somewhat complicated because it depends on the type of innovation school and the way in which funds flow. So if we could come back to that question, we're happy to address it as we go through some examples specifically around if the innovation school is in the local education agency or not in the LEA, has implications of how those funds flow.
So it would be very premature for people to be talking about an increase in funding for Heron at this point, because we wouldn't even know what the funding's going to look like and what that formula is going to do, correct?
Absolutely. I think any assumptions around the partnership are very premature at this time, as we have not had any discussions around what terms would look like, services and the partnership would look like. So again, it's part of our process. We intentionally don't have those conversations until commissioners have had opportunity to at least get a better understanding of the model.
Right.
And I anticipate if there are discussions, there will be many more presentations to the Board of Commissioners as we discuss the potential partnership.
Well, I mean, I applaud both sides on this. I applaud Heron. I think they're committed to, serving students, in the neighborhood and in our district. And so, I have to applaud that. They're working their mission, I think. And so I'm glad that, the conversation is starting. And, the significant number of those students do live in the district. They are paying taxes. If we provide transportation, people in our district are entitled to transportation. If we're providing, special education services, those dollars come from federal and state sources. And again, all students are entitled to those services. So, so I think that, I appreciate the fact that we're starting the conversation, and we'll see where it goes.
Commissioner Hoops.
I support that. I was simply going to say that there are potentially other issues besides unified enrollment that we're not yet thinking about. So I would expect us to explore the relationship and the conversation and have through your team, bring us a summary of kind of the pros and cons, and be very open to listening to the possibilities.
I think very supportive of continuing this conversation. I think that we've come a long way in terms of collaboration with all of our friends across the community. And I think to the extent that they're interested in working with us collaboratively, I think that's wonderful. I agree that I think it has the potential to be a very mutually beneficial relationship. They certainly do very strong academic work with their students, and having that as part of the IPS family, I think, is very affirming to know that they're interested in changing in that direction. So I know we have a lot of things to figure out and work out, but I think very supportive of beginning to have those kinds of conversations.
Thank you for the guidance. The next report is item 6.04, which is an additional briefing on the budget development numbers and materials. For the discussion tonight, we will highlight new content. We've presented a number of times on our revenue, anticipated expenditures, and there's a couple questions that we wanted to ensure that were responded to and clarified as we go forward with commissioners hopefully adopting the 27-18 school year budget. We'll begin with the fund balance report, and then we'll transition to the school funding models that are currently being implemented associated with our student-based allocation model, and then the types of schools that we have in the district. With that, I'll turn it over to Weston Young, who will begin with the estimated fund balances.
Good evening, Commissioners. When we spoke last Monday at the public hearing, a question came up about the funds that we have, the cash balances that we have. And on the slide, this is a slide that was used in our Finance Committee update along with our financial advisors, H.J. Umbaugh, who, with all that's going on at the district, we're trying to project out what is our fund balance and how are we going to do 2, 3 years, 4 years out. And so we've highlighted spending gaps, and these spending gaps become very real when we review those projected cash balances over the course of the next couple of years. We're currently working on this analysis with them and diving deep in these numbers. But at a high level, the cash balances will be mandated or strategically spent down in the amount of around $90 million over the course of these couple of years. The three primary reasons are strategically maintaining the level of staffing to support the educational programming for all students, no matter what background or ability. It's also, secondly, a one-time state-mandated spend down of the debt service funds while staying current with the required debt payments. And third, strategic spending of our food service funds for cafeteria facilities, food services, and food options. I'm going to jump to the last 6 slides, which Dr. Farabee referenced in the comments in the question that has been had by many in the community and also Commissioner Bentley here tonight. So what I want to highlight on the screen right now are 3 funnels. And the 3 funnels are different streams for 3 different school types with varying levels of academic and operational flexibility. So on the screen, we have the first funnel on the left is our funds that IPS receives and then distributes to the school. In a traditional school, a non-innovation school, that would come through a budgetary allocation. With an innovation school, a different entity, it would come through IPS, and it would be distributed via check or wire to a separate entity, the innovation school. In this slide, we've had conversations in prior slides about state funds and local funds and federal funds. So the color of the ball in each of those funnels is equivalent to orange being the state funds, the dark blue being the local property tax funds, and the light blue being the federal funds. The middle funnel there are services that are provided by IPS So IPS is receiving those dollars, but employing the staff in charge of the resources to offer those, to provide those. And then the third funnel are funds distributed directly to the school. You'll see that on the traditional school and on the Innovation LEA school, the traditional and Innovation LEA funnels are exactly the same. All three balls on the left, all three balls in the center, and no balls in the right. On an Innovation non-LEA school, you'll see that it shifts a little bit. And this is the fact that in title programs, whether it be the funds received based on poverty index, received for professional development, and funds received for ESL, there's the dollars that are received directly by that Innovation non-LEA school, but the responsibility for compliance and adherence to the federal regulations goes along with that. The other difference between Innovation non-LEA is in how the funds flow through and how many dollars are distributed to the school. So in an Innovation LEA in a traditional school, like I said, the same. In the upper section, these are funds that are related to our student-based allocation model. So traditional and Innovation LEA schools receive dollars related to the student-based allocation model. We've reviewed the weights in past presentations when we've reviewed student-based allocation. Both schools also receive restricted funds, and IPS staff would administer and hold the responsibility to retain compliance on those funds. And those are represented in the restricted funds, mostly Title II, and these are just examples. Again, I want to repeat that. These are example dollars of an example school. The locked resources on the right are resources that IPS would retain the responsibility for and retain those resources and direct the use of those dollars. With a traditional school, again, that would be a budget allocation. In an Innovation LEA school, IPS would be, but depending on the services and operating agreement with that school, we would deploy it in that manner. In an Innovation non-LEA school, the dollars and cents that are received from the state, basically the state's student-based allocation model, is listed there. So we have our tuition support, which we refer to as the foundation amount. And so this year it's $5,088. In its complexity index support, the direct cert percentage for each of the schools, right now IPS has $1,883 per student, so that would flow to IPS. And then the special ed support, depending on the exceptionality of that student, would flow to IPS, and that would literally be almost a pass-through to that Innovation non-LEA school. Again, not in all cases, but this is the general flow of how the dollars flow out. So that's per the per pupil agreement in the agreement. Again, non-Innovation LEA, or Innovation non-LEA has an agreement, and how if they choose to spend those dollars with us or with another vendor, they might hire different services from different people. Sometimes it's IPS, sometimes it's not. Want to make sure that have some times for questions on this important matter. So,
I just have a question.
Commissioner Bentley?
So, in the case, I know transportation and services and facilities maintenance are optional, but if we own the building, they're not optional, correct? Like if it's I'll use Cold Springs as an example, we still retain ownership of that building. So we still absorb the cost of the maintenance on that building, correct?
So in essence, Cold Spring is in an Innovation LEA school, so I'm at the slide where this would maybe reflect their agreement.
Right.
So we own the building, they're an LEA school, we retain the capital projects dollars, so the capital project tax funds, and we employ and maintain the responsibility and deliverance of the services for that building.
Okay. Now, what about an example of an Innovation LEA, like Heron, for example, that is going to have they own their own facilities?
Yep. So I'm going to jump to the Innovation non-LEA school funding. Again, agreement has not been finalized. But this would be a type of model they could start from and kind of get an understanding of how dollars could flow from the state, from the local property taxes, from the federal, through us or directly to them. And then, per the agreement is really what dictates eventually the actual dollars that flow.
But we're under no obligation. I mean, I guess what I'm getting at is that we're, our property tax funds are pretty tight because of property tax caps. And so we're not obligated to provide capital funds for schools that we don't own. That's what I'm getting at.
Correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Thanks.
Commissioner O'Connor.
One clarification, early on you referenced I think it's both LEA and non-LEA where we transfer dollars to that school's entity, that being the 501c3 that was created by the charter?
Correct.
Okay.
Commissioner Hoops.
That was my question as well, and specifically, can you name a current innovation non-LEA school for me? Because we talked about, for example, Cold Spring being an LEA.
Great example. So innovation, non-LEA. So we have some agreements up for discussion tonight. Those would include Avondale Meadows Academy, and then Ignite Achievement Academy. So the Elder Diggs conversation. Heron High School, with their own LEA, would be a non-LEA innovation. So that would be another one. A non-LEA that has been reviewed and approved already this year is Purdue Polytech. It would be a non-LEA innovation school as well.
Mr. Young, just to clarify, they're non-LEAs, meaning non-IPS LEAs. They are LEA, but they're not.
Correct.
When you're making they're not a non-LEA, they're not part of our LEA. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone understood that.
Yep.
They're independent.
Yeah, speaking from IPS's view.
From our perspective, they're not our LEA, but they are their own LEA. Yes, and LEA. Yeah.
Correct.
Complicated.
I think we will be studying those slides more.
I think they're very well done, Wes, and thank you.
And if there are any feedback on how we could make it more clear, please let us know, because this is our first stab at trying to visualize and make it simple to understand. And every agreement is different.
Right.
Again, want to engage with the community to help them understand this very important way to provide more academic and operational flexibility to our schools, whether it be traditional, innovation LEA, or innovation non-LEA.
I like to think of myself as the floor that we're trying to reach, and I think you're getting close.
No one made it uncomplicated, but I appreciate this. I think it's
very helpful.
Very helpful. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, are we ready to move to section 7? Under unfinished business, we have 5 items for review and approval in unfinished business as part of our annual budget adoption. The first 3 items are the approval of the proposed 2017-18 school year budget and the approvals of the capital projects and bus replacement funds. Item 7.04, authorization to appeal incorrect advertisement of property tax rates or levy, is a pre-authorization from the board to permit the filing of an appeal to a reduction in the tax rate or levy by the Department of Local Government Finance. Such an action hasn't occurred for at least the past 8 years, but this is a measure to avoid any timing issues and the need to call a special meeting in the unlikely event that the tax rate or levy is reduced. Item 7.05, approval of continued neutrality requirement for general obligation bonds, is an approval of reductions in the property tax levy to offset the property tax amount needed to service the pension debt. Having reviewed the proposed budgets and approvals, are there any questions or comments at this time?
Point of order question. Can we take them all of one motion or separate?
That's what I will be proposing.
Sorry.
It's like you read my mind. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Okay, hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the budget resolutions as presented in items 7.01 through 7.05.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries.
This time, Commissioners will transition to new business for action. The first item in new business is 8.01. Is a proposed innovation network agreement in partnership with Avondale Meadows Academy. In the spirit of the type of innovation school, I remind Commissioners, as Weston pointed out, this is a non-LEA partnership. Request that Commissioners approve the agreement as presented.
We do have public comment on this item. Mr. Grommelsbacher?
Pamela Reynolds, please.
Hello, thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Pamela Jenkins Reynolds. I am a parent of students at Avondale Meadows School. I am here on this evening to speak of Avondale Meadows Middle School. They're at the Avondale Meadows Elementary School. What I can say is my experience that has been with the Avondale Meadows family has been positive. We have come from I have 7 children, and with my 7 children, I have sought a culture in an education system that can actually give us all of what we were desiring. What we were desiring was to come into an educational system where we were not just another number, but we would actually come in and actually be a member, be a part of the family. The ability of the teachers to actually meet each of my children at their need has been a great asset for us. I welcome the opportunity for our family to actually be a part of the Avondale Meadows Middle School. I will have 2 children. One will go in on this upcoming fall, and then I will have a daughter that will also come in behind him. I know that the same culture will be represented in the Avondale Meadows Middle School as it is in the elementary school, and I appreciate that and I welcome that. I just say that I currently serve as a president of the PTO. I'm looking forward to working with families and also administrators as we move forward into the Avondale Meadows Middle School. It has just been everything that we have been looking for in a school. I can also say that I have grandchildren that will also follow in the footsteps as well. And we welcome in and invite everything that's going to be coming and that's going to be a part of the Avondale Meadows Middle School. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any additional comment? Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 7739, approving an Innovation Network School Agreement for Avondale Meadows Middle School as presented?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries.
The next item for action and new business is 8.02. It's also a proposed Innovation Network School Agreement. This agreement is in partnership with Ignite Achievement Academy for Elder Diggs School 42. This relationship would be also a non-LEA Innovation Network School Agreement. We ask that Commissioners approve the agreement as presented.
We also have public comment on this item.
We have several speakers on this item, so I will read 2 names at a time and ask that you queue behind the prior speaker, please. Our first speaker is Candace Razor, followed by Kenye Carew.
Good evening. My name is Candace Razor. I'm a parent here speaking on behalf of the Ignite Academy. I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Eli and Mrs. Beavers as leaders at the school for Tinley Summit Academy. My daughter attended there for kindergarten last year, and I was just impressed initially with how well it seemed like the leaders worked so well in harmony. And just as my experience as a parent, I had never witnessed such a positive environment, and just entering the school last year, it felt like family. So of course we were saddened when we lost them at Tinley Summit, but just in the way they present teaching, the style of teaching, and it just spills over with the people that work in their leadership, the students and the teachers alike. And it also extends, I mean, just the way they treat us like family, it extended to the parents as well, welcoming, any way that they could be helpful to the scholar being successful in the class. In my opinion, the way in which they teach equates to love, basically. Again, I had never met any administrators that call themselves a team. I call them the dynamic duo because they're just hands-on involved. They involve themselves with the students in class, in school, and outside of class. We had an event where these families went skating, and Mr. Eli and Ms. Beaver skated with us. I think that's encouraging to the kids. They get a bond and build rapport, and my daughter is in love with the teaching styles of Mr. Eli and Ms. Beavers. Their encouragement focus on the journey to college. I love that. They're supportive, invoking excellence. They are very genuine in interacting with the students, like I said. I can't believe or remember a time where I would go to drop my daughter to school and they weren't already there. After a while, I got the idea that somebody had a cot because Mr. Eli and Ms. Beavers were always in the building, welcoming, knowing everyone's name, greeting with a smile, leaving with a smile. That's important. Again, my daughter loves school. She excelled beyond her age and group or expectation in her grade level. She was reading before kindergarten was finished. This year, she's doing the same. So they had a big impact on her learning. They incorporate conflict resolution and self-discipline with martial arts. She loved that. And they meditate. They encourage meditating, thinking before acting, so that they're, minimizing conflict. So I wish them continued success so that my daughter will benefit by the gift they give in teaching.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kenya Carew is next if present, followed by Lori Bertain and Davion Williams.
Hello, good evening, everybody. My name is Kenya Carew, and I'm also a current parent of scholars at Tinley Summit Academy. The first year that my children were there, I moved them, honestly, because they weren't getting the support that they should have been, or at least my son wasn't getting the support that he needed to have at the current school that he was at. So I was in desperate straits to try to find some good education for him, be able to not necessarily put him on medication, but to find out if there was some alternate motive or alternate reasons or solution to basically getting him the education he needed and not just go beeline to medication. And that's what I found at Tinley. Before I even took them to that school, basically I got there and there was like music playing in the halls, calming music like jazz and opera, and that right there said a lot about the school. It set the atmosphere for the hallway. I have never been in a school hallway where the children weren't talking. It was so quiet. You could like hear the pin drop. That was very impressive, especially for elementary school kids, all of that. My children, when I found out that they were leaving and going to do something different. Of course, I was happy for them. Obviously, I'm here in support of that. But also, I was like kind of saddened. So I waited till the last minute to inform my children because I didn't want that to affect them. That's the kind of impact that they had on them. I didn't want them to, be saddened by the fact that, they were leaving, and I just let them know it's optimistic that they're going on something new and that we could go with them on this new venture that they were seeking. So my son took advantage of the meditation that they had. He also took advantage of the martial arts that they offered. He received Stern, and it was stern, but it was what he needed to get his mind together, to get him where he needed to be, and get the education that he needed while he was at the school. So I for sure support them moving on into this new endeavor, and I wish them the best of luck. And my children have grown under their administration, and we couldn't have asked for a better set of people to be over a set of scholars, as I would call them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lori Brattain, please, followed by Davion.
Good evening. I am here on behalf of Ignite Achievement Academy in favor for it. I've known Ms. Beavers and Mr. Eli since my son was in second grade. He is now in fourth grade, and these two are exceptional leaders. I would follow them anywhere, except the restroom, but I will follow them anywhere academically. My son has grown in his academics, and under their leadership, with Mr. Eli, he has grown as a leader himself. They both are caring and treat all the children like they were their own. Not one time have I ever came in the building and not seen them smile either. They make you feel like you want to be part of their team. I've even applied for a job when they were there. As a parent and as, wanting to work there, they make you want that. I felt very comfortable about leaving my son with them, even though he has a lot of medical conditions. I wasn't worried about it because I knew they could handle it. They even, with his medical conditions and he was getting some bullying, they even took it upon themselves to make a health class and teach his whole class about what he's going through. And that gave him more confidence because as they learned, they were able to say, oh, okay, this is why he does that. And I admire them for that. And my son, he would make sure Miss Beavers had breakfast, had lunch. He would make sure he talked to Mr. Eli. My son talked to Mr. Eli about anything. He talked to him about things that he couldn't talk to his mother about. And I admire that because as a single parent, my son needs that role model. And I am all for the school, and he already knows wherever they go, he's going to go. I will make sure he gets there. Thank you.
After Davion, we'll hear from Trilla Stalling.
Good evening. My name is Davion Williams, and I want to be a biomedical scientist when I grow up. And with Mr. Eli and Mrs. Beaver's leadership, I will stay on the right track. I am proud to have had Mr. Eli as my principal. He has helped me to meditate and be able to talk about my feelings to calm down. Mr. Eli helped me to do martial arts to keep my mind focused. I was able to talk to him about anything and still talk to him, and he encourages me. Mrs. Beavers was also a great leader. She helped me with my test scores and encouraged me to do my best, and she also gave great hugs. Both Mr. Eli and Mrs. Beavers are great leaders because when kids didn't understand my condition and while I was in pain and I couldn't participate, they made a health lesson for the whole class to understand how I felt. And that really helped the kids to be more compassionate. I will go to their school wherever the school is located. Thank you for taking time to listen to me, and I hope to be able to attend their school and maybe even their high school. Davion Williams, future scientist.
After Ms. Stalling, we'll have Deanna Doyle, please.
It's hard to follow a child. My name is Tryla Stalling, and I thank you so much for this opportunity to speak with you. I am an auntie of a scholar that went to the school that Brooke and Eli were over at first, and I appreciate their love and dedication. When you drop your child off, the first thing you want to know is that they will be protected, and that the people who are over them are very passionate and love what they do. And that was the very first thing that when I dropped my niece off, is that I was welcomed with a smile, no matter how early I got there. And when I picked her up, we left with the same thing, a good hello, and here's my number, and if you need anything, to give me a call. And sometimes I had to find myself in that position where I did have to give them a call, and they did answer, and I am very thankful for that. Along with the academics and scores that were very well, my niece did wonderfully at their school, but I also appreciate when they did meditation. Sometimes I think my niece is very hyper and very active. Medicine is definitely not the way we were looking for, but to give her a point of meditation to say, let's stop, slow down, think about this in your next actions. She did very well in the karate class to go on to receive some awards for doing very well with that, and I'm very thankful for that. Also, the love for the arts that was given at the school, whether, as they stated, when you walk into the school with different genres, when you walk in from jazz to opera to even if it was hip hop, it was infused with math and other things to put math with music, and I thought it was just really great. To even art performances that had different cultures and different dances, and I appreciate those as well. The parents stayed well informed, so if it wasn't from a phone call or a email blast, you could also walk up to any teacher if it's not just your scholar's teacher, but everyone knew exactly what was going on, so I appreciate that as well. They also had Parent University. So the way we were taught in school is definitely not what they're teaching right now. And so to be able to attend Parent University, we understood, okay, this is how they're doing the math, or this is how they are explaining planets and things like that for the parents, so that when they came home with their homework, we knew what they were talking about, and we could also help with our scholar at home as well. They also did plant projects where the children went outside and helped plant food, watch food grow, and know the necessity of food and nutrients. And also self-love and community love, with some homework projects that dealt with, going out and helping someone in your community, writing a project, and how the adult felt that received the help, and how the scholar felt with that as well. In their disciplining was to help make children make better choices, not just stand here, or, go home or anything like that, but to make better choices. I will again follow these two wherever they go. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Deanna Doyle is up. Will be followed by Dewana McMitchell.
Hello, Dr. Fairby and members of the board. My name is Deanna Doyle, and I'm an Elder Diggs parent. When I first found out about IPS 42 moving to innovation, I was not supportive because we were taught a different plan in December. I didn't want to lose the wonderful teachers and staff. I didn't know what innovation meant for our children. After carefully doing my own research, I asked a lot of questions and made sure to attend all the meetings that were held at 42 to give us information, understand and reason the circumstance of why it's been suggested for Elder Diggs to become an innovation school within IPS. I support the decision for Elder Diggs to become Ignite Achievement Academy at Elder Diggs for next school year. I believe that Ignite will be perfect fit for my children, for my children and other children in the community. All school leaders and teachers should be focused on what's best for the kids. When I met the leaders of Ignite, I got a great vibe from their passion that they are in this for the kids. They plan to bring music into the learning techniques and additional lab support for kids who need them, and they believe that our kids can meet and exceed any bar set for them. I am ready for Ignite to ignite the fire in our kids' education. And also, today we went out, weeks before, we went out and we got signatures for parents who supported, the community that supported. We really want this for our kids, and we hope that y'all take this in consideration, that we're here in support of them for our kids, because our kids need this badly. So we hope and pray that y'all take in consideration that us parents are here to support Ignite. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Farabee and members. First and foremost, I am ready for Ignite to ignite the fire in our kids' education. Although we were told something different about our school not becoming innovation, I've currently become a fond believer of the idea. I like the idea of pairing universities for Ignite to engage the parents, because right now, many parents at IPS 42 don't show up to meetings that are important for the kids. We can't give up on them either. We need to have systems in place to encourage parents to show up for these things. Failing school doesn't mean that our kids are failures, but we need to do something about it. After hearing additional information from follow-ups at the meetings, I feel like this is the best thing for our students and parents as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Courtney Bird, please, followed by Shawanda Tyson.
Hello. I chose 42, even with the F grade, because it's in the neighborhood and I watch my daughter do very well in this school. I want my daughter to stay at IPS 42, and even though I was opposed to the move to innovation at first, until I attended meetings discussing exactly what this means for my child. I was concerned about the staff changes that comes with innovation, but I believe Ignite is offering an opportunity for my daughter to grow so much more. I would like to point out that it isn't about the staff for me anymore. They have their diplomas and their degrees, so it's time for our children to receive the same. Our kids deserve a quality education too. I'm not placing blame on anyone, because there is no one to blame specifically, but our children's educations and lives are at stake, so we need to do anything possible to give our kids what they need to succeed. Our kids are different and they learn different, so we need more programs in schools that will teach them in a way that our kids can relate. Ignite has programmings that fit the needs of our kids today. Ignite wants to make learning fun for our kids again. The music program, where our kids will learn their primary lessons to a beat, is very exciting. My daughter feels like school is a chore right now, but I want her to be excited to be there every day, not the opposite. I would like to give some advice in the future to IPS. You must be sure that this process goes much better, and be sure that you keep the parents, community, and teachers more involved with much more time to understand innovation or any big changes that come up in our kids' school. I am excited about next year with Ignite and my daughter finishing her 6th grade year at Ignite Achievement Academy at Elder Watson Diggs. I am ready for Ignite to ignite fire to our kids' education. Thank you.
Thank you.
After Ms. Tyson, we'll have Dr. Hicks, please.
Good evening, Dr. Farabee and members of the board. My name is Shawanda Tyson, and I am a mother of a child attending Elder Diggs 42. My son was diagnosed with autism. I did every bit of research that I needed to do to understand what he needed to be his best, and what I was determined not to do is allow anyone to label him and tell him that he couldn't do anything. I believe in my son, and I've watched over the years how change has affected him. He has attended 2 other schools other than IPS number 42 since he's been a school aged, and that change was needed due to his IEP that needed changing. I was not open to the idea of new changes happening in my son's world. Building changes and teacher changes have always been very tough for him and me. I attended the Innovation Ignite Achievement Academy meetings, and the more I understood why changes were needed, along with the fact that I realized that my son will never have to change schools again simply because of an IEP change. I was not open to it. When I first came down to the board, I was very against it. But innovation allows the school to customize his IEP every year and to bring in the services that he needs to change as his needs assessment changes. Every child deserves a customized education. As I continue to listen to Brooke and Shy, I realized that the Fusic music programming for our kids to learn basic principles and songs with beats would be something great for my son. Also, the martial arts to teach him discipline in different ways, and I believe this technique will help my son behavior-wise, something he struggles with constantly every day. I am also very excited about Ignite keeping the history of Elder Diggs strong in our community. I am excited. While I hate to see some of the teachers go, which has really been hard for us because we have a great partnership with many of the teachers, I am also excited about new opportunities for my son's future. I am ready for Ignite to ignite fire in our children's education. We at Elder Diggs 42, we have collected over 58 signatures from parents who also believe that this change is necessary. Despite any ill feelings from the teachers, we love them, we appreciate them, but it's time for changes, and we would like Ignite to be in our building. Thank you.
Thank you.
After Dr. Hicks, we'll have Dr. Adams.
Dr. Farabee, respected board, I am Ivan Douglas Hicks, pastor of First Baptist Church, North Indianapolis. We are a stone's throw away from School 42. I also chair economic development for the Northwest Quality of Life Initiative, and I stand simply to let this board know, this community know, that we stand ready to provide the necessary love and the necessary wraparound support that is necessary to create an even more excellent school. We are excited about the opportunity through our ancillary, the Northwest Vision Development Center. We have grindery programming where we are an urban entrepreneurship, an urban incubator. We are looking forward to taking what we have in-house at the grindery and fitting that into the financial literacy module that has been so clearly expressed in the application from Shaquan Eli and Brooke Beavers to make sure that our young people have the necessary resources to make it in times like these and to deal with the necessary struggles that come their way. We have an opportunity with not just economic development and not just through financial literacy, but through the entire pedagogical design that they have come up with to make sure that we are teaching our children of their greatness, to look at ancient civilizations, not just Kemet and Meroe in Africa, but to look at the Olmec, the Aztec, to look at the Mayan cultures, and to be able to have our children to move in from a different agency with a different worldview. This says that there is greatness that takes place before we divide ourselves, and if we can find some common strand, if we can find some common thread, that will allow our children to appreciate their culture, which boosts self-esteem. But when they learn to appreciate somebody else's culture, that increases their worldview and allows them to know their appropriate place within history and allows them to know that they can be great. So we're excited about the opportunity we have to support the Ignite Achievement Academy as they come to the neighborhood, and we're excited about what will take place for our children. Thank you.
Thank you.
After Dr. Adams, we have Ms. Stevens, please.
Good evening, commissioners, Dr. Farabee. Thank you for this opportunity to say a few words on behalf of Ignite Achievement Academy. My name is Dr. Preston T. Adams III. I'm the senior pastor of the Amazing Grace Christian Church here in Indianapolis, Indiana, and also the founder of the Urban Initiative, which some of you may be familiar with because of the High Five movement that has been in our city now for almost 2 years, and of almost 30 schools that we have served with high fives and motivational rallies. The majority of them have been IPS schools. In fact, Elder Diggs has benefited from this movement on 2 occasions. So when Brother Eli and Ms. Beavers asked me to say a few words about the Academy and to provide some support, I was excited to do it, primarily because I understand how important it is to have community partners. I don't come necessarily to taunt the merits of the program and the model itself as much as to say I trust those that are putting it together. I trust that if it's an opportunity to reach a population that is struggling, a targeted population that needs additional support, I trust that it will be a good model that will help to bring successes in a community that definitely needs it. And most importantly, I come because I'm excited about an opportunity to continue supporting IPS. As many of you would know, we are in a current strategic partnership with IPS with our Urban Initiative High Fives. We look forward to that continuing. We will actually be at Northwest High School on April the 3rd with our next rally. So when I think about school Elder Diggs, I think about the opportunities that will exist through the connection with Ignite. And I think about how we can make a difference in the community and continue to serve our young people who are really our most precious asset and who need all of us in order to succeed. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you.
After Ms. Stevens, we'll have Marcy Condry, please.
Hello, my name is Megan Stevens. I am founder of Always Making Progress, or AMP Inc. I was a community partner at Ignite's leadership's previous school. And we met up and they had a plan of what they wanted for each individual student that they saw needed additional assistance. And my job was to come in and provide additional literacy skills and tactics for them in preparing for standardized testing. And from the moment I walked into the school to the end of the school year, I saw what the culture of expectations and excellence was like. Every teacher, every student, everyone was on the same page and shared that mindset, and they knew what it took to succeed. They stayed after. They met on Saturdays for an additional 3 or 4 hours, and that's where I came into play. And we came up with a plan of action. I met with parents, and everyone was on the same page. And I think that shows their character, and they knew what it took for their students to succeed, including students like Mr. Williams, who you saw, who I worked with personally. And from taking him to where he was to where he is now, to be able to stand here in front of a room full of people is phenomenal. He was not able to do that. And they just take the extra steps. And that shows exactly what we need in school leadership. I'm a product of IPS. And so I know what I received at IPS, and I received a lot of great skills and tools and resources that prepared me for the future. And so we want the students to have the same chances. And I believe the Ignite leadership will be able to do that for them. Thank you.
Thank you.
After Ms. Condry, we'll have Brandeis Riggins, please.
Good evening. My name is Marcy Condry, and I had the pleasure of working for Brooke Beavers and Shaquan Eli during my first years of teaching. As you know, the start of every new beginning is filled with excitement, anxiousness, and most of all, uncertainty. As a teacher, you hope to be the person your students remember, the teacher who made a difference, the teacher who finally taught in a way that they could learn. As I committed myself to working for them, I was nervous that I might fall short of these aspirations. However, all of my worries were diminished once I started working alongside my co-principals. I say alongside my co-principals because I saw our school as one unit, one team working towards a common goal. Shaquan Eli and Brooke Beavers built our team intentionally with our strengths in mind. Throughout the year, they continuously helped us master our strengths as teachers and build on our weaknesses. Both of my co-principals always took time out of their day to check in and help me with whatever I was struggling with. I could always count on Beavers to spend her Saturday mornings planning out the best way to teach a new unit in my classroom. I could always count on Eli to mend a child's broken spirit when a teacher's words just weren't quite enough. As a teacher, especially a first-year teacher, I never felt alone. I knew that I had two cheerleaders to push me to be my very best. Teaching is not an easy job and certainly not something someone should do alone. As previous teachers, Beavers and Eli understand not only how to develop students, they also know how to develop teachers. After the first month at their school, I didn't see them as my administrators. I saw them as my teammates. But Beavers and Eli are so much more than that because they are truly passionate about children. They are truly passionate about education, and they are truly passionate about improving communities in Indianapolis. As we all know, and as they constantly say, it takes a village, and they are already creating that village. A village that works as a team and supports each other through life struggles. Success is making someone's life better by being a part of it, and Beavers and Eli, the yin-yang twins, have definitely done that for me.
Thank you.
After Ms. Riggins, we'll have Gary Holland, please.
Good evening. My name is Brandeis Riggins, and I'm a parent of a child that was under the awesome leadership of Shai, Quan, Eli, and Brooke Beavers. One of the things that I want to point out is their leadership. As everyone has talked about, their leadership and their ability. But one thing that stuck out about me is that they're not just in a position. And as a principal or as principals, but they're actually operating inside of their purpose, which then ignites and really imparts purpose into these children. That's one thing that I really admire. My daughter just didn't talk about going to college. My daughter doesn't just talk about going to school, but she talks about moving inside a place that she is passionate about. And when you have passion, you can move inside your purpose. And that's one of the things that I really admire about them, that impartation. Another thing is their their passion to really bring on the right team, bring the right team to work with them, and how their team really cohesively, they work together. It's very fluid. You can't speak to one person that works with them and they're not speaking the same language. So when you go into the school, the atmosphere is created for everyone to feel at peace and feel at ease and knowing and confidence that they are working on the same page. Another thing that I like that I want to address is really my experience. When I moved here to Indianapolis, our first year in a school we didn't have the best experience. But when we went to Tinley Academy, I met these two leaders, and they made promises that they followed through on. They told me that they cared about my child, and they proved that. Ms. Beavers made sure that because my child did excel above everyone in her classroom in her reading, and now she reads at an 8th grade level, Ms. Beavers made sure she was always in a grade ahead so that she would never fall behind at her level. And so that was one thing that I really admired as a parent. But in closing, what I want to say is really a quote from Nelson Mandela. He said, and I'm paraphrasing this quote, he said that a person who changes their principles based off of whom they are dealing with could never lead a nation. And one thing I admired about them is their consistency. They never change their principles based off of whom they're dealing with, and they teach those same principles to the children. Thank you.
Thank you.
After Mr. Holland, we'll have our final commenter on this item, which is Richard Bonds, please.
Good afternoon, Dr. Farabee, and to the board commissioners. My name is Gary Holland. I am an entrepreneur with G. Holland and Associates. We are committed to educational parity. We are comprised of university professors, researchers, and evaluators. We often work with schools and school leaders in the capacity of offering educational curriculum and professional development that emphasizes cultural competency and awareness. The leadership team comprised of Brooke Beavers and Sean Eli has demonstrated a sincere commitment to the Indianapolis community. As a community partner, we are convinced that they will create a school environment where all children are prepared to learn about academic subjects, self-awareness, and culture. Our experience working with the leadership team has revealed that they are committed to the academic intelligences as well as the emotional intelligence, and that they are able to build bridges between parents, school staff, the neighborhood, and the community groups. It is rare to find school leaders whose experience educational background, and pure love of children matches that of Ms. Beavers and Mr. Eli. Because of this, without reservation, we wholeheartedly endorse their school and its ability to be an asset to the northwest side of Indianapolis and the city at large. In an ever-changing educational landscape, it is important that charter and turnaround school operators in a public school district demonstrate a commitment to the community that they serve. It has been our experience that Brooke Beavers and Sean Eli will provide our community not only with educational excellence, but a serious commitment to innovative and transformative work in School 42. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners, Dr. Farabee, IPS school administrators, staff. Good evening. My name is Richard Bonds, and I have with me members of Kappa Alpha Psi. I think the last meeting we must have about 90 members up here, but I guess they know the drill, so they said there's no need of comment. But we're here pretty much to give our support to the innovation of the Ignite Academy and Elder Watson Diggs. We have, Kappas have been very, very active with the IPS School 42 for a number of years. School 42 has a place in my heart. I grew up 3 blocks from the building. My siblings, 4 siblings, attended IPS. My mother, my father, my grandparents attended IPS 42. So we continue to have that legacy in our family with IPS 42 being so close to us in our hearts. The principal at IPS 42 was Elder Watson Diggs. Mr. Diggs was the founder of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity at Indiana University in 1911. During that period, there were very few African Americans on the campus, and the 10 that they rounded up, they were able to lend support to one another. Therefore, the motto of Kappa Alpha Psi is achievement, and achievement permeates throughout the country, where we now have over 100,000 members. And they continue to give reverence to Elder Watson Diggs, as well as their own community, where Kappa Alpha Psi emphasizes repeatedly achievement, achievement, achievement in every field of human endeavor. I still hear locally from individuals in the generation above me about Elder Watson Diggs. These are gentlemen in their 80s, 90s, over 100, and they talk about the Diggs motto, how it influenced their lives. Mr. Diggs died in 1947, so these gentlemen, a couple of them, worked at IPS 42. So over the years, we continue to be very, very supportive of the school. We have engaged in numerous activities. In 1986 was our 75th anniversary. We had over 40,000 people come to our city. And when they went out to the building to see the big mural of Elder Watson Diggs, they were extremely impressed. I'm sorry, I had about 9 pages of notes here, but since everybody else made the commitment of supporting Elder Watson Diggs, that's where we are. Kappas have been tutoring and doing character development for a number of years there. And with the new innovation and the partnership, we plan to continue that as we move forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Is that our final speaker?
That concludes public comment on that item.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve Resolution 7740, approving an Innovation Network School Agreement with Ignite Achievement Academy as presented?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Commissioner Gore abstains. Any discussion? Commissioner Hoops?
Yeah, I just want to add that I also had an opportunity to meet with Mr. Shy and Ms. Beavers, and had an opportunity to review more extensively their plan, their academic plan, as well as their plan for continuing to engage the community and parents, and I'm real excited about the future of Elder Watson-Diggs.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Commissioners, the next item for action in new business is item 8.03, which is also an Innovation Network School Agreement. This agreement is in partnership with Thomas Gregg School 15. It's important to note that this Innovation School Agreement is within the LEA. We request that commissioners approve this agreement as presented.
I believe we have some public comment for this item as well.
We have 5 people signed up to speak on this item. Joyce Waldcotter first, please, followed by Brianka Merritt.
Good evening, Commissioners. I guess it's getting a little bit easier on me as the audience keeps going down and down and down. My name is Joyce Walcutter, and I've been a teacher at IPS for 10 years, the last 6 of which have been at Thomas Gregg. And I am looking forward to the new school year because I'm excited about the prospect of personalized learning for our instructional model. I love the idea of the cross-grade level team with the knowing that we could better reach all of our students. Personalized learning will ensure that all our students are supported and challenged. I'm a teacher who loves math, and when I had my classroom, math was in everything. English, reading, it was across the board. So as a special ed teacher, supporting the school, I just really am excited of incorporating all skills into all real-life scenarios through project-based learning and service learning projects, and it's all incredibly exciting to me. Additionally, this collaboration piece will go well beyond the classroom as we will embrace our community and their resources in order to support our students and their families. This will also allow us to wrap fully around the whole child and help them be prepared to learn and become a better version of themselves. I truly can't wait to see what lies ahead for Thomas Gregg, and am grateful to be a part of this journey with our school. Thank you for the opportunity for allowing me to speak tonight.
Thank you.
After Ms. Merritt, we have Cleta Marbley, please.
All right. Good evening, Dr. Farabee, members of the board. My name is Brianka Merritt, and I'm here, obviously, to talk about Thomas Gregg today. At this point, you've probably heard a lot of commentary from staff, parents, community members about their passion and energy behind the school. I'm a researcher and evaluator by trade, so not here to talk about the passion part, but how it's actually been translated into tangible support for the school. First, I wanted to talk about the financial support that has gone not just into supporting the development of Thomas Gregg as an innovation school, but going into the neighborhood as a whole, recognizing that Thomas Gregg serves the neighborhood and vice versa. So LISC, INHP, the PNC Foundation, Central Indiana Community Foundation,
Lilly Endowment, Cummins, and USA Funds have all supported the Near East Side and Thomas Gregg, totaling over $121,000 in fiscal support toward efforts and projects to improve the neighborhood and the school that it serves. The other part of not just thinking about fiscal support is also about administrative and other types of support to keep Thomas Gregg accountable and making sure that it serves the purposes that it intended to do. So we have a board of directors for Thomas Gregg, including a few elected members. Our officers are Chair Mike Bowling, pastor at Inglewood Community Church. Our vice chair is Tom Dawson, Senior Vice President and Chief of Staff at USA Funds. Our secretary is Shawanda Brown, former parent at Thomas Gregg and also a current community resident. And our treasurer is Monty Hulse, who is Director of Regional Engagement for the Indiana After School Network. As I read the rest of the list, you'll see that we have people from all kinds of diverse backgrounds in terms of personal and demographic characteristics, but as well as what they do. We also have James Taylor, who I'm sure you know by now, CEO of John Bonner Neighborhood Centers. Rachel McIntosh, who is Vice President and Community Development Advisor at PNC. Susan Adams, Professor of Education at Butler University. Stacy Fry, an addictions counselor at Fairbanks Hospital. Myself, Senior Research Analyst at the Indiana University Public Policy Institute. And Gwen Langley, who is the Director of Corporate Responsibility at Cummins. So you can see that collectively from both our financial support and our board that we have a lot of people who have interactions with education policy in some way, but more importantly, we have people on our board who are very concerned about accountability and making sure that Thomas Gregg does what it's supposed to do if it makes, if it becomes an innovation school, to make sure that it serves its neighborhood and again, its purpose overall in educating students. Thank you.
Thank you.
After Ms. Marbley, we have Shawanda Brown, please.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Cleta Marbley, and not only am I a former Thomas Gregg student, but I am a mom of 2 boys. My oldest son, Jaden, attended Thomas Gregg and is now a sophomore at Arsenal Tech High School. My younger son, Jalen, is currently a 6th grader there. At Thomas Gregg, as you can see, I have a long history with the school, a total of 6 generations. Next year, going in on 7 generations. Tonight, I want to talk about the importance of consistency and personalized attention for kids. As a student and as a parent, I've seen teachers and principals come and go over the years. At Thomas Gregg, one face that has stayed consistent over the last 10 years has been Mr. Pippin. He was my oldest son's special education teacher. He pushed my son to do his best and work to make a connection with me and my family. Now Jalen is here and gets to experience Mr. Pippin's leadership as principal. Our relationship has continued to grow throughout the years, and I'm excited that he has been elected to continue as principal at this school and moves to an innovation school. I think it is important that the future students and families experience the same consistency that I have. I know he and his team will continue to provide for our families. As an innovation school, I know children will receive the kind of personalized attention they deserve and need to succeed. I am confident that all the teachers at the school will give future students the same kind of individualized support that my son was given by Mr. Pippin. I can't wait to see what great things happen next year at Thomas D. Gregg. Thank you.
Thank you.
After Ms. Brown, we'll have our final commenter, Elaine Boltman, please.
Good evening. My name is Shawanda Brown, and I'm a former parent of a student from Thomas Gregg. I'm also a community member of the Near East Side, and I'm currently a member of the Near East Side Innovation School Corporation, I want to speak tonight about Thomas Gregg and his leadership and to share my excitement about the school model. When I first enrolled my daughter at Thomas Gregg, I actually thought Mr. Pippin was the principal, but later on I found out he was the assistant principal. But he immediately made me and my daughter feel so welcome at the school, even though he was not the one that was in charge. Throughout the years at Mr. Pippin's led the school, it became welcome and more welcome of families. You can tell the difference when you walk down the hall. Years and the opens and welcome environment continue this year. Throughout the past year, I've worked with the community and Mr. Pippin. And as we develop the plan for the new school, I'm really excited for the next year because the plan we have worked on is really what's best for the student. The personalized learning meaning that kids will be able to work on skills they need and get the support that works for them as individuals. I can't wait to see how much students grow and learn. If Thomas Gregg is allowed to be innovation next year, we can put our plans into action. And thank you for letting me speak tonight.
Thank you. Good evening. First, I would like to applaud the parents and community members of Thomas D. Gregg Elementary for their caring and interest in their children's education, and that teachers want to partner with them. The word professional is not a label you give yourself. It's a description you hope others will apply to you. I have been a member of IEA, the Indianapolis Education Association, for over 20 years. We are a professional association. I emphasize professional because teachers have not been treated like professionals in recent years. The teaching profession has too often been the scapegoat in recent years for poor performing schools, when in fact our hardworking educators have been working between 60 and 70 hours per week, tutoring our students after school, planning lessons, and grading homework for ever-increasing class sizes. When entities like the Near East Side Committee want to join with Thomas Gregg Elementary and propose to become an innovation school, they are sold as a way to improve student learning, when in fact they are chiefly a measure to separate teachers from their professional association. There is not a single strategy that the proposal claims to do that can't be done within IPS and this local association. These ideas are about adults and power over adults, not about the kids and their education. It has been said that power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. If this innovation school will still be a part of IPS, funded by IPS, then what is the point of making it separate other than cutting the teaching professionals away from IEA? We will no longer have an association that gives us a voice at our place of employment, an association that provides us with annual professional development and leadership opportunities, or an association that bargains for a living wage so we can continue to stay in the profession we love. This is not innovative. This is punitive. Public schools are accountable to the public. Innovation schools are not. I will close by making one final note. An article appeared in the news on Monday where the new and controversial Secretary of Education, Betsy DeVos, praised the Thomas D. Gregg Innovation School takeover. When Secretary DeVos was being confirmed, there was a massive public outcry by parents, teachers, students, and voters all over the country about her detrimental policies.
I respectfully ask that you pause for a minute before you vote on this proposal to consider whether or not the proliferation of these arrangements are truly being made in the best interest of our children, or instead are being made for a furtherance of an agenda that in the end, based upon data, is mostly about the privatization of our public schools. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. That concludes public comment.
That concludes public comment for this evening.
Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 7741, approving an Innovation Network school agreement at Thomas Gregg School number 15 as presented?
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair, if I might, I attended several public meetings. I want to say to the folks at Thomas D. Gray School involved in this, we as a board, over the time I have been on the board, talked a lot about community engagement, parent engagement, and I think this may be the model. This is clearly a ground-up effort in that neighborhood not far from my house. And I learned, every time I went to one of their meetings, I learned more about my neighbors. And so I want to congratulate them for the work they did from the ground up on this program.
Else? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
The next action item, Commissioners, 8.04 is request for commissioners to approve an agreement for a special education residency program in partnership with Purdue University. Request that commissioners approve the agreement as presented.
Do I have a motion to approve the affiliation agreement with Purdue University as presented?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Next item for action is 8.05, request for commissioners to approve the cancellation of outstanding checks in alignment with Code 5-11-10.5.
Do I have a motion to approve the canceling and receipting of stale-dated checks as presented?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I'm shocked that there's no public comment on the stale dating of checks.
It is difficult to believe that.
I keep looking at this item and thinking about dating, like blind date. We're in blind dating or something.
I think you need to read that again.
Funny.
Any discussion? There was. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Next item for action is 8.06. We ask that commissioners approve the agreement and accompanying resolution with Anthem and Apex regarding a disagreement for services. We ask that commissioners approve this agreement to ensure that we're able to continue to provide benefits and services to our employees as presented.
Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 7742, approving the letter of agreement as presented?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
The next item for action is item 8.07. We ask that commissioners consider the process and timeline agreed upon in resolution number 7743 related to the decision-making on secondary school consolidation.
Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 7743, approving the process and timeline for secondary school consolidation as presented?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Commissioner Bentley?
Hopefully we'll change that from consolidation to school closing. I think we need to be clear about what we're doing. So hopefully we can change the wording on that.
Any further discussion? Or are you making a motion to do that?
No, I'm just making a comment.
Okay. In the future is what you're...
Yeah, I think we need to be clear about what we're doing.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. At this time, does any commissioner wish to offer closing comments? Commissioner Bentley.
I just have a couple comments. I attended the musical at Broad Ripple High School last weekend, Sister Act, and I want to congratulate the students and staff at Broad Ripple. It was an amazing performance, particularly Denise Johnson, Martha Riley, and John Haig, who were the directors and producers of the musical, but it was very well done, and the singing was amazing. Also wanted to just give a shout out to Principal Posey from School 43. He attended the Butler-Tarkington Neighborhood Association this week and gave an update on happenings at School 43, and I really appreciate, and I think people at the meeting appreciate having him there to kind of give updates about what's going on at the school. I know a lot of our principals make a habit of doing that with their neighborhood groups, and I just think it's a great way to to outreach with the community, because I think people are interested in knowing what's going on in the school. So, thank you.
Any other comments? Commissioner Gore.
I'd just like to say that I had an opportunity within the last week or so to go and read at CFI to the children during IPS. And that was really a lot of fun, as well as having an opportunity to see the school and to see what was going on at the schools. And then last week I was at the Legislative Policy Conference in Washington, D.C. And I know that it's been referenced already that Secretary of Education did mention IPS, but that was kind of a shock to know that she knew about Indianapolis and that she knew that I was there. So that was a nice occasion to get. Also, I'm glad I made it back before the snow started.
So are we. We're very glad. Any other comments? Okay, Dr. Farabee?
In the spirit of the NCAA tournament, games are being played tonight, and the season is upon us. We had the fortune of having a partnership with the NCAA and a local university partner in Butler University to have our own Final Four and competition around literacy and reading. Proud to recognize William McKinley School 39 and Carl Wilde School 79 that are our top two now that are competing for the championship, and we will have our winner announced on tomorrow. But just congratulate all of the students that have participated, the adults who have supported this effort, and also, again, our partners who also will be providing awards and incentives throughout the process. I had the pleasure of traveling to Greencastle last weekend to see the young men of Crispus Attucks and the Tigers compete for the regional championship, and congratulate them and wish them the best this weekend as they compete for semi-state. Also, as we're winding down the winter season, spring break is upon us, and next week we'll begin spring break for us. And just a reminder to our families that we have over 29 locations in the district where we'll be providing meals for our students. Encourage families to go to our website, myips.org, to get information about the locations and the times in which we'll be providing meals. As we approve the resolution for health benefits, just a reminder, I think it's important to note that over the past two collective bargaining agreements, the Board of Commissioners have invested over $4 million in additional funding to ensure that we have the best coverage for our employees. So again, we appreciate all the work of our students and staff, and hopefully they'll enjoy spring break. Again, congratulations to the Tigers. They have a pet rally on tomorrow at 1:30, and wishing them the best this weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next regular meeting will be our work session on April 18th at Thomas Gregg School 15 at 6 p.m. Having completed all items on the agenda, the meeting stands adjourned.